before we get rolling, 12 seconds. Tell me what the difference between the arithmetic and geometric sequences are. Yes.
One has the ratio and one doesn't.
Okay, which one has the ratio? The what?
Second one.
The geometric. Okay, so geometric has a ratio, and so we're basically dividing to find, right? So arithmetic has a what? Instead of a ratio, it has something else. Not the sum, I'm just talking about the sequences. What do you think? Thanks. Well, okay, so if I have a sequence 1, 3, 5, 7. How do you know it's a sequence?
Has it constant as a right?
Yes, so it has the difference, it has that common difference, and we subtract and define, right? That's the difference between the two. So, let's look at these four and say, is it arithmetic, geometric, or neither? Okay, so looking at the first one, let's see, well, 18 minus 3 gives me 15. 33 minus 18 gives me 15. 48 minus 33 gives me 15. So, which one is it? Yeah. And the difference is 15. Okay, so looking at the next one, I subtract a half, and then I'm subtracting a quarter. What about if I divide 1/2 by 1? That gives me 1/2. What's 1/4 divided by 1/2? What's 1/2? And 1/8 divided by 1/4. Because remember, 1/8 you flip and multiply. So that gives me 4/8, and that's 1/2. So which one is it going to be? Yeah, so it's going to be geometric, and my ratio is 1/2. Okay, let me grab my calculator for the next one, because I can't do it. So which one do you want to try? Let's see, if we add 0.6 and add 0.6, that's going to give us 4.32. So let's take 3.6 divided by 3. Whoops. That gives me a 1.2. So what's 4.32 divided by 3.6? 1.2. So which one's it going to be? What did you say, Lexi? Geometric. and my ratio is 1.2. All right, so the next one, let's see, I added 7. Negative 6 to 1, add 7, 1 to 8, add 7. So which one's it going to be? Yeah. Arithmetic, and my difference is 7. Okay, good. All right, so let's plug and chug into some formulas. In a geometric sequence where the first term is 15 and the common ratio is 2, what's the fifth term? Which one am I going to use? Formula 1 or Formula 2? This is Formula 1, and this is Formula 2. Which one am I going to use? The first one, because it's a series. I'm looking for an actual term. So if I use a to the n, and that I need a1, and I'm going to times it by the ratio of n minus 1. Okay, so I'm looking for a to the fifth. Would you agree with that? Okay, what's a to the first going to be? $15, good. What's my r going to be? 2. And what's my n going to be? 5. All right, let's plug and chug. So 15 times 2 to the 5 minus 1, which is going to give me 15 times 2 to the 4th. So I get 15 times 2 to the 4th, which gives me 240. Easy peasy? Yes? No? All right. Then, find the term of the geometric sequence with the following parameters. What's parameters mean? Anybody know? Huh? It's the, that's PERI. It should be really more parameters. You're talking about perimeters. This parameters means
That's gonna be the second.
it's going to be, well, no, because I wanted the term, so I'm going to use the first one. Parameters just means details. Okay? That just basically just means details. All right, but since I'm finding a term, I'm going to use the first equation. So a to the n equals my first term times my ratio of n minus 1. So what term am I looking for then? If n equals 4, just looking for the fourth term, right? The first term is going to be 12. My ratio is 0.75, and it's going to be 4 minus 1. So 12 times 0.75 to the third. 12 times 0.75 to the third gives me 5.0625. Good. Okay. Given the geometric series of 13 plus 26 plus 52 plus 104, blah, 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 find the sum of the first 10 entries. or find the sum of the first 10 terms. Which one do I want to use? Number 2, I agree. How did you know? There's actually 2 clues that should clue you that you're using the sum one. Yeah, first of all, the word sum, what's the other clue going to be? Geometric's going to tell you to use this sum one, this sum formula versus the other one, but there's something else.
Series?
No. Yeah, series. Okay, I take that back. There's 3 things. What's one more thing? The addition signs. Yeah, instead of having commas, we've got the addition sign. So those 3 things should clue you in that, hey, I'm using the sum formula. So S to the M is my first term minus my first term times the ratio to the n over 1 minus r. Okay, so first thing I need to know, what's my first term? Yep, I like that one. What's my ratio? 2. Yeah, because we're going to go 26 divided by 13. That gives me 2. So I want the sum of the first 10 terms. So that means n's going to be 10. So my first term's 13, and I'm going to subtract 13 times 2 to the 10th, and I divide all of it by 1 minus 2. That looks kind of ugly, doesn't it? It's okay. Don't fret it. I'm going to take this ugliness and say, hey, 13 times 2 to the 10th. That gives me 1, 3, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 1, 2, and 1 minus 2 gives me negative 1. Now, let's do 13 minus 1, 3, 3, 1, 2. And I'm going to get negative 1, 3, 2, 9, 9 over negative 1. So the sum of my terms is 13,299, because my 2 negatives make it into a positive. So it looks ugly at first, but don't freak out. Just simplify that one number and then do top and bottom. Better? Want to do another one? Okay. If it says find s to the 6th, what's that mean? What am I looking for? Not the sum of the 6 terms, because it's s, so it's the sum of the 6. So that means I'm going to use a1 to the rnth over 1 minus r. Okay, my first term is 40. My ratio is 1.5. And my n is going to be 6. So I know all the information. I don't even have to find anything. I can just plug and chug. So first term's 40 minus 40 to the 1.5, oops, 40 times 1.5 to the 6th, all over 1 minus 1.5. All right, I'm going to do this first part. 40 times 1.5 to the 6th gives me 40 minus 455.625 and all over negative 0.5. Good? Yeah.
So I was gonna say 40 minus 40, like, I got 415, or negative 415.
Because that's what I'm going to get now. So I'm going to take 40 minus 455.625 and get negative 415.625. You can just plug that whole line into, because now when I divide that by 0.5, oops, it should be negative 0.5. I'm going to get that my sum is 831.25. Good? Does that make sense? Okay, in a series, the common ratio is 3, and my fourth term is 200. Want to find the first term. Which formula am I going to use?
First one.
Yeah, because I'm looking for a term. Since I'm finding a term, so I have a to the n equals a1 times r to the n minus 1. Okay, so if I know s to the 4 is 200, I can, well, actually, I thought that, I was thinking that was a to the 4th. Or actually, let's use the SN one, because that's what we know. 1 to the Rn minus 1 minus R. Okay, so what I can do, if I'm looking for the first, that's the first term I'm looking for. Let's fill in what we know. I know 200 is equal to A1 minus A1 to the times a ratio of 3. And I know my n is 4. Okay. And then I'm going to have 1 minus 3. Okay. All right. So I got two A1s here. I need to kind of get those together, right? So I'm going to set, this is like timesing A1 times 1, right? It timesing by itself, right? So if I look at these two parts here, I can factor that out and say a to the first times 1 minus 3 to the 4th. Did you follow me on that? Corey, I lost you, didn't I? Okay, so think about it if I have, let's say 2x plus, or squared plus x, right? And since I have an x in both of them, I can factor that out and I'd be left with 2x plus 1, right? Would you agree with that?
Why did you do that?
Because this is my greatest common factor?
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to get 4 different.
How'd I get what?
4 different. But never mind. I was confused.
Because my n is 4, because I'm doing the sum of 4?
Oh, okay. I was.
Yeah, nope, you're good. So I basically did the same thing here. It was that I have a minus a times 3 to the 4. So I said, hey, my greatest common factor of both, in a, I factored that out, and I'm left with 1 minus 3 to the 4th. Does that make more sense? Yes? Okay. All right, now, and I have that over -2, right? So, if I multiply both sides by my -2, I'm going to get -400 is equal to a to the 1 minus 3 to the 4th. I'm going to run out of room. And that's just a number. So 1, come on, turn on. 1 minus 3 to the 4th is -80. I'm going to move over here. So -400 is equal to -80 a to the 1st. And so now I can just divide my 400 divided by 80, and my first term is 5. Okay. All right. Practice. Solutions on the back. You should be able to get this done in the class time. Cool? Then Monday we're gonna do a little bit of mixed practice, take our geometric skill quiz, and then do some review. And then I think, what is it, Tuesday we're gonna do an activity to review, and then I can't remember if it's Wednesday or Thursday you'll have your quest for this, and then the exams. Yay! I can tell you're all so excited. Questions, comments, concerns, cares in the world. You poor thing.